right, welcome back. Now, as the term comes to an end this week for current government schools governing bodies, parents and learners are being encouraged to stand for nomination. The elections of members of the 2018 school governing bodies, or SGBs, will be held from the 1st to the 31st of March. To talk to us more about the role and responsibilities of SGBs, we joined from our studios in Cape Town by Tim Gordon, who is the CEO of the Governing Body Foundation. Mr. Gordon, good morning to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Morning to you, Palesa, and good to be with you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much indeed. Now, these elections this year are the 9th cycle since 1994. How significant has the role of SGBs been, and really in terms of the smooth operation of the schools?
All the information that we have in the research suggests that a good school has a good governing body, and a good governing body can turn an ordinary school into a better school. So the record of governing bodies is exceptional where they have done well. Sadly, we've had some cases where governing bodies haven't done particularly well and schools have suffered. But the system is part of our democracy. It is part of the very important development of education, and we believe that governing bodies, and the Constitutional Court has supported this, are a hugely important part of the democratic situation in South Africa's education.
Yeah, and talk to us about really their main guidelines, because we know that SGBs are sort of the support structure to the principals, but where do they draw the line in terms of their mandate? Because we hear of cases in some instances where SGBs are accused of taking over the operations of the schools entirely.
People have got to understand very clearly that there's a big difference between management and governance. The management of the school is in the hand of the principal and the principal's management team. The governors are there to support, to assist, to bring to the party some of the skills that people who have been trained as educators may not have. But then there needs to be a very clear distinction between those who are appointed and paid to manage the school and those who volunteer to govern the school. It's very important for those who are going to govern to understand they don't have the powers of hiring and firing and going into classrooms and doing the day-to-day management. If there are people who are employed to do it, the governors are there to support them, to assist them, and to bring to the whole situation in schools some of those skills that the educators don't have. It might be things like being able to deal with finances or buildings or IT, but also, very importantly, to bring to the school the understanding, the wishes, the values, the beliefs of the society that they represent. A school doesn't exist in a vacuum. It is part of society and part of communities, and it needs to be able to work with those communities. So the governing body members should be people who understand the values of the communities, who will share them, who will bring to the knowledge and understanding of the principal and the management team what the society and the community are really looking for. Yeah. So it is a partnership, not against each other, but it is clear that the one governs, oversees, guides, and the other does, works, and carries out the day-to-day functions. And those two mustn't be muddled.
But what are your observations thus far as the Governing Body Foundation? I beg your pardon. Is there really an understanding between the issues of management and those of governance in schools?
Well, I think that one of the difficulties that we do have together with the management and governance of schools is that nobody is ever really trained through their careers, through their studies, to be either a manager or a governor in schools. Our principals started off by being trained to be teachers. Our governors are members of society. So both organizations, such as the one that I head up, and the government and education departments themselves, put together a great deal of training to ensure that the skills that people bring are then channeled in the right ways, and that there is a clear understanding of the roles and the responsibilities. So yes, you don't have to have that in advance, but it's important that you have to have an open mind to be able to pick up through that training, through that development, and through your experience where you can play a role and where you need to step back and allow those who are appointed to play the role, to play it themselves.
Yeah, you bring up an important issue of training, Mr. Gordon. The SGBs, are they adequately trained to deal with issues that are within their capabilities?
I think that it has perhaps been one of the weaknesses that we have suffered over the years, but it is one that both organizations such as mine and the education department at national and provincial level are very aware of. And a lot of work has been put in and will continue to be put in on ensuring that people who volunteer and who stand do get the necessary training and do have the correct understanding, so that that very important role that they have offered to fulfill is properly done.
Yeah, and
so we believe that that will be looked after. You don't have to come with something, you will get it when you get here.
All right. The theme for the elections this year is be active, be principled, vote wisely, Njalo. Let's talk quickly about the interest of parents. Are they really interested in participating and becoming members of the SGBs? Because in some schools we see the very same SGBs serving for 3 or more terms. So parents, are they really interested?
I think that there is a group of parents who is very interested, and I think that that is something which we need to cultivate quite strongly. The first thing they need to understand is it is an opportunity for service and volunteerism. They're not going to be paid to do it. They may not be paid to do it. They may not benefit financially or in other ways by being there. But it is a very special role in society to be able to be a volunteer who gives your services in the best interests of the school. And that is the very first role of a governor, is to look at the best interests of their particular school and ensure not just that their children and their neighbours' children have a good school to go to, but to be able to look a bit further into the future and ensure that there's going to be a very good school there for their children's children. A school which the neighbourhood is prepared to support, wants to support, will send their children to, and not put them onto a bus and send them off to a suburb or
we have to leave it at
or somewhere else. We need every school nearby to be a good school for the people in that community.
All right, Mr. Gordon, we have to leave it at there, and hopefully everything will go well between the 1st and the 31st of March for the elections of the SGBs. Of course, as I said, we're hoping for the free and fair elections. We're taking a quick break.